Time to go. We're leaving Stokes Bay, Stanley Island, and we're heading up to Morris Island, distance about 55 miles today. It's nearly 7. We've had breakfast, calm water out there, and on our way. I did have a quick look at the rudder post, and I can see there's a tiny little bit of movement there. So I do suspect that either the top or the bottom bearing has got a little bit of play in it, and that's allowing or making that sound that we can hear when the rudder's turning. So I don't think it's likely to fail in a big way between here and TI. We're just going to have to nurse it a little bit. Anyway, it's just one more thing for Captain Friendly to have to think about. We'll just have to deal with it. Anyway, we'll get on our way, and there's no way to fix it between here and TI anyway, so try not to stress. Try not to stress. That's the important thing. I overthink things, that's the problem. This is what happens when you go to sea with an all-girl crew, right? So we're setting sail. I've made a big decision that we're going to sail for the next 36 hours all the way up to Torres Strait. We've got some strong wind coming in, and my rudder's bearing, I think, is a bit loose, causing rudder issues. So better to sail while conditions are calm and do all of that rather than have big 20 to 30 knots. But, so the girls have decided to kill some time, and they're doing macrame. What do you got going there, Kate? Here's a look.
Just making a little wall hanging. Probably going to have shells or something on it that we've collected at Lizard Island.
Yeah, nice.
And the driftwood's from Lizard Island as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
And Tan, what are you making?
I try to learn, I don't know.
A bird pod.
A
bird pod.
A bird pod.
A bird pod.
Bird.
A bird nest.
Bird pod, yeah. Bird nest. House for
Try
bird.
to learn this one because I like.
Well, it's entertaining anyway, and that should pass the next 36 hours.
Very clear.
And while all this macrame is going on board, I'll be steering the boat on the inside of the reefs between Cape Melville going up to Portland Road. Elected to go on the inside of the reef because of the rudder issues. I want to minimise the swell and the strain on the rudder. So, well, we didn't really come even close to getting our 15 to 20 knots forecast for today. It's now nearly midday and we still haven't seen it. In fact, I gave up sailing and we're now motoring. I've just got the sails still up because I'm hopeful that we're going to catch a tiny bit of breeze, but doesn't seem to be happening, so pretty shortly I'm going to get rid of all this sail and just continue motoring. Got a long way to go from here to Thursday Island. It's about another 280 or 260 miles or something. So I'd prefer not to have to motor it, but anyway, it is what it is. The forecast is still 15 to 20 today, and 15 to 25 tomorrow, 20 to 30 for the next day after that. So the further north we go, we'll follow that strong wind up, and we should be in front of it if we keep moving. So my plan is at this point to go all night today, all day today, all night tonight, all day tomorrow, and at some point that wind's going to catch up with us and get us moving. I just want to do it in as calm seas as I can. I'm a little bit worried about the bearing on the rudder. I don't want to put any strain on it at the moment. Without any wave action, it's managing just fine. There's no issues with it. But when there's a wave action and we're coming down the front of the wave, the boat's trying to correct, there's a fair bit of pressure on the rudder, and that seems to be putting a little bit of tension on the bearing. So I don't think it'll critically fail on us, but I'd rather not put it under load. So we're going to go straight through as close as we can to Torres Strait before we stop for a night. That'll probably be tomorrow night. Yeah, but I was hoping to sail it. Anyway, I think later this afternoon we'll catch some wind. But it'll be whatever it is, I guess. And the breeze has finally arrived. It's just started filling in about less than 5 minutes ago. It's now up around the 12 knot mark, so we're getting some sailing happening. We're doing 6.5 knots. Turn the engine off, very happy to be doing that. So now we'll be making miles all the way through this afternoon and tonight and tomorrow as well. Eventually this wind's going to fill in a fair bit, so we'll end up having to reef the mainsail, I think, take the pressure off the helm. But for now, we're just going to make fast speed in flat water behind the reef. It's going to absolutely rock. Great sailing today. So we finally got a hit. Looks like a good one. We've been moving all day, really haven't had anything, and I've been surprised by that. But the wind filled in, we got sailing, and as soon as we got above 7 knots, we got a hit, and it looks like a reasonable fish. So it's interesting to see what we got going on here. These things often feel heavy when you hook them through the side, so it may not be a big fish, it might just be foul hook, hard to say. There he is. Oh, it's a decent, it's a big fish. It's a big fish. Got him on the surface now. Make ground on him. That's a reasonable fish. He's fighting. This guy is going off. Absolutely going off. Good job, my love. All right. Whew. So another big eye tuna. Whew. So that was good fun. Now I've got to deal with him. That's the hard part. So there's a pretty little island we're passing called Fife Island. Very typical of what we've seen today. A sand key with a tiny bit of vegetation and surrounded by reef. All very well on a nice calm day like today, but on a day where there's strong southeast trades, the swell wraps right around these islands. They can be pretty damn uncomfortable. So anyway, we're still trying to make tracks. We'll be sailing through the night. So we're just scooting along in fairly calm water. Got about 10 knots of wind and making 6.5 knots. So here we are, just zipping on the inside of those reefs, and that's why it's so calm in here. Also because the wind has been down as well. Just making a nice little run. We're going to continue running up the coast all the way to Torres Strait, hopefully, and outrun this strong wind that's coming. Right. That's how close you come to some of the reefs here in the passage that the shipping takes up the inside of the reef here. You know, we're not much more than a stone's throw away from the edge of the channel there, so ships come in quite close to check this stuff out. But look, you can see on this chart plotter we're making just under 7 knots at the moment, and if we zoom in here, that's Heath Reef. There we go. So that's Heath Reef there that we're passing, and we're, you know, I wouldn't say we're in the middle of the passage, but we're not on the starboard side of it exactly, and we're very close to that. So navigating a ship down here is not a lot of room. The sun's about to dip below the horizon. Made the decision, everyone's putting their harnesses on now, and so we'll be wearing those throughout the night. So you'll be sleeping in your harnesses, and anybody steps on deck has to clip on. So everyone should be clipped on all night, so we've got no risk of losing anyone over the side.
Okay. Looking the goods.
Yeah, you comfortable?
I'm ready for it. Actually, surprisingly very comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, those little ones are not too bad. Without the life jacket built into them, they're a lot easier to sleep in.
It's very comfortable.
But me and Tana got these new fancy looking ones, but now we've got to sleep in these bloody things. Anyway. Alright, so clip on, Kate. Show me how you clip on.
Alright, we take one strap there, clip it on, undo that there, do that, and then I'm in. Good to go.
So we're cracking along here between 7 to 8 knots really, in about, what's that, about 14 knots of wind. Very nice. So I toyed with the idea of putting a reef in the main before it gets dark, but I think we'll carry it. I think there's a good chance we can get through the night with it, and that'll add some miles. But if worst comes to worst, it's not too hard to put a reef in, so I'll do that during the night if I need to. I'm going to sleep on deck in the cockpit here, and then have the girls rotate through on watch with me, so that I'm always here. Because of the navigation, there's a lot of reefs, and we're in a narrow channel here, a lot of hazards, so I really kind of need to be on deck the whole time and available. But I'll kind of catnap in between. The girls can keep a look out for boats. Don't know whether we'll see fishing vessels. I thought we would, but there doesn't seem to be much on the AIS at this point, so hopefully no other vessels during the night. What do you do, my love?
Cooking.
Trying to cook while the boat moves from side to side. What do you make?
Red curry.
Red curry.
Fish red curry.
Fish red curry. Tuna that we caught today. Yeah, yum.
Tonight.
Good job, my darling. Thank you. And we'll have that with rice.
Yes, good.
Thank you, my sweetheart. Difficult or not?
Yes.
Because the boat's moving a lot, huh? Yeah. It's actually not too bad, but it's a good little dry run for when we do the crossing. Good morning. It was quite a long night. Shared the watches between us, and no one really got any sleep, I don't think. It's now just about dawn, 6:30 in the morning, and we're approaching Cape Grenville. Probably a couple of hours or an hour out of Cape Grenville. We've got a decision to make. We either stop at Cape Grenville tonight and then try and run up the coast tomorrow, where there's likely to be more wind, or we go now, which is still about another 80 miles. It's quite a hike up. To be honest, I still haven't made up my mind. We'll wait another hour and make a decision. Need to look at some data, I think, first. When we left Stanley Island yesterday, we had the full main and the full headsail, and the wind filled in as predicted, and during the night we had about 20 to 25 knots, so ended up first reefing the main, double reefing it, and then reefing the headsail in quite a lot too. We're still getting probably a solid 20 knots here at the moment. I'm going to leave the reefs in because I think we're going to get more pretty soon. And we're motor sailing at the moment because our batteries are quite low this morning. So I kicked in the engine about an hour ago. So we'll run that for about 2 hours this morning just to top everything up. It looks like it's going to be a bit cloudy today. I don't think we'll get a lot of solar charge. So we've got another 90, close enough to 90 miles to go to Adolphus Island in Torres Strait, which is a very good anchorage apparently, not that I've ever been there. Will shelter us up to 35 knots. If we keep going and we maintain about 7 knots, which I think is doable, we'll be there by about 6 o'clock tonight. Quite comfortable anchoring there in the dark. It looks like a fairly easy anchorage, but it would be nice to arrive in daylight. But I think, seeing as we've pressed on during the night, it wouldn't make sense now to stop at Cape Grenville and then rest during the day. That just doesn't make any sense. So I can see that we'll continue on for another 90 miles today. But that means we're finishing all off. We'd be at Torres Strait. So let's keep going. Off Cape Grenville, looks exactly like a lighthouse you would see in a picture book. It's all painted red and white, nice and bright. Someone must have painted it yesterday. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it, but check this out. I'll do my best to zoom in on that on video editing. But that has got to be the prettiest lighthouse I think I've ever seen. So these channels can get quite busy at times. You can see here there's two large vessels going to share the channel with us shortly. One overtaking the other. Lucky for us, there's actually a bit of room here, so I'm going to swing outside the channel to make room for these guys. But there are places where it's so narrow and the reef is closed on both sides where you can't jump outside the channel, so you have to really have a think about what traffic's coming your way and are you all going to fit. Hey guys! Hello! So this is the first pod of dolphins we've had actually play with us. We've had a few come past and visit, but none have had a play. This is cool. If you went back to, I think it's episode 15, we went to Marillion Harbour, which has a tiny little entrance for a sugar loading facility. And it's like the entrance there is probably only 120 metres wide or 160 metres wide. It's challenging in a small yacht, let alone a ship. Anyway, I just picked up a vessel called the CS Sonoma on the AIS. We're going past him now. He's 620 feet long with a beam of 105 feet and his destination is Marillion. So as near as I can tell, because Marillion has nowhere else for that ship to go, near as I can tell, he's heading into Marillion Harbour in a 620 foot vessel with a beam of 105 feet. Now, that's an impressive captain. Impressive. So we're just settling in for another sunset on this leg. The leg between Stanley Island in the Flinders Group at Cape Melville all the way up to Torres Strait, where we're planning to anchor at Adolphus Island for the night. So we're just settling into our second sunset at sea. I think we've done something like 200 or 220 nautical miles by the time we anchor tonight. It's looking like we'll anchor around about 9:30 or 10:30 tonight. Won't be able to film any of that, of course. But it's a fairly open anchorage, so I don't see any problems with getting in there in the dark. We'll just anchor a little further out and maybe tomorrow move further in. There are some stronger winds coming, 20 to 25 knots, so it'd be nice to just rest for a day, I think, after all this last sort of 36 hours at sea. So we're just settling in to watch the sunset. Life's pretty good. Join us in the next episode as we cross Torres Strait to Horn Island, find a few crocodiles, eat a crayfish and get ready for the big jump.